Pats Nation, the New England Patriots might be done when it comes to the 2025 NFL Draft, but we are not done breaking down all the players because they drafted a boatload of guys in this 2025 class, 11 total players to be exact, and then, of course, they're signing a bunch of UDFAs. Now, we're not talking about UDFAs in today's video, but we will be talking about UDFAs later down the road, later this upcoming week. Who are some of the guys to potentially watch? Which of those UDFAs do I think has the best chance at making that Patriots final roster? So if that's a video you guys are looking forward to, make sure you leave a big like on this video. Help support the channel tremendously. And of course, subscribe to the channel for all your New England Patriots news and hit that bell notification when you do subscribe so that you get notified every single time I post a video, every single time I go live, post a short, a community post. You guys are not going to want to miss out on any of the great content that is coming your way. But today, we're going to be talking about the New England Patriots drafting edge rusher Bradyn Swinson out of LSU in the 5th round. I find it interesting, man. I find it interesting that the New England Patriots, they had 3 5th-round draft picks heading into today. And they only made 1 5th-round draft pick. So they definitely did a lot more trading on day 3, trading up, trading down than they did the previous 2 days. And what another steal that Mike Vrabel and Elliott Wolf got here. And it feels like that is just the name of the game when it comes to this 2025 draft class for New England, is they're just getting really, really good value with all the guys they've drafted. And we've talked about, all the other prospects for the most part. We've talked about Will Campbell. We've talked about Travion Henderson. We've talked about Kyle Williams. We've talked about Farms, right? We've talked about all of these guys. So if you guys are interested in hearing my thoughts on the other Patriots selections, my reactions, going into a deep dive analysis, I have a playlist linked to all of those videos in the comment section right now. It's also up on Patriots Global. So if you guys are interested in checking that out, make sure you do so. It would help support me tremendously. But man, BPA, best player available. I know I've been punching that down your guys' throats over the last few days, but I simply cannot get over it. It is really the little things in life that I think us Patriots fans are starting to really value, because for so long, and I'm not here trying to bash Bill Belichick, greatest coach of all time, but it felt like with Bill Belichick, he always tried to do the cute thing. Bill Belichick tried to do the fancy thing and make him look like this mastermind genius to the rest of the league, when in reality, that's not what this team needed. Sometimes the obvious pick is simply the best pick. And it felt like that is something that Belichick forgot, especially late into his career. You look at the Philadelphia Eagles, that's a team that doesn't overcomplicate it, right? They go best player available. Guys are sliding down the board for whatever reason, potential character concerns, and they say, no, you produced, this is great value, we're taking you, and it constantly works out for them. And it feels like that's the philosophy that for this draft class specifically, the Patriots bought into. Getting Bradyn Swinson in the 5th round is probably my favorite part about this, because Bradyn Swinson was projected as a 2nd to 3rd round prospect. PFF believes that this is an elite steal for the New England Patriots, elite value with where they got him. This is what PFF had to say about the selection of Bradyn Swinson to the New England Patriots. They say, the Patriots get outstanding value here, as Swinson was ranked number 47 on PFF Big Board, right? And for those who don't know what that means, a big board is just put together for their favorite players, period. It doesn't matter the position. We're not here telling you that Bradyn Swinson was the 47th best defensive lineman or edge rusher on PFF's board. Bradyn Swinson was the 47th best player, period, on PFF's board. And the New England Patriots are getting him at pick 146. They are getting him almost 100 spots later than PFF liked him. Now, on a true pass set, Bradyn Swinson posted a 91.4 pass rush grade and an overall pass rush win rate of 22.1%. He had 11 sacks this past season, 15 tackles for loss, along with going with an 89.1 PFF pass rush grade, which was top 10 amongst 2025 edge rushing prospects. He's 6'4", 255 pounds. He brings that size, he brings that length, and had a 7.1 second 3-cone drill, which really shows that agility. It shows how fast that he can get off the line. Now, coming out of LSU, too, one of my favorite things about him is that he comes from a high competition level. And you guys know me, Nothing against those smaller school guys. I don't believe that just because you go to a, top end, top competition school that all of a sudden you're going to be good. And I don't believe just because you went to a smaller school, just because you went to a D2, D3 school, that all of a sudden you're not going to be a good prospect. I just believe that with players, when they are starters at a high competition school, including LSU, I just believe in their ability transitioning to the NFL. I believe that what you got at the collegiate level is going to be pretty reminiscent on what you're going to get heading into the NFL. And he's also the teammate of Will Campbell. And Will Campbell seemed to absolutely love this pick when the Patriots took it, which I also think says a lot. This is a guy that, I also think can be an every down defensive lineman. And that's something that the Patriots have even said themselves. Elliot Wolf even said himself when the selection was made, a pass rush grade of 90.3, like I had mentioned earlier, a 69.6 overall grade against the run that was slightly above average, and a 5.8% run stop rate, which was just about average, right? I don't think he's someone that is going to be elite at stopping the run or anything like that. He's definitely significantly better at setting the edge, at getting to the quarterback. Excuse me, as I'm getting a call here. This is why you put your stuff, when you're doing a live stream, you put your stuff on Do Not Disturb. But anyway, I do think he's much better at getting to the quarterback. It's not that he's a one-dimensional edge rusher. It's not that he's pedestrian against the run. He's not going to be a liability against the run, but he's not going to do it at a high level. He can keep his own, but he's not going to be anything special there. He's not going to be like this Anthony Jennings. Something I really like too about Bradyn Swinson is that versatility. He's someone who's going to be able to play all over the defense. This guy can play, standing up. This guy can put his hands in the dirt. This guy can shoot the gaps. He can be an edge rusher, obviously. You can put him in the interior of the defensive line. I think he's someone that you're definitely going to want to put there out on the edge during obvious running situations. I think that's where, he provides his best against the run. He's someone that put up 2 sacks in 2023 at LSU, 4 quarterback hits, 16 hurries, and 2 batted passes. He has gotten better every single year. And you guys know I love players that get better each and every single year. That tells me is that you were never stagnant. You never took a step back. You got better as every year went on. You are on an upward trajectory. That tells me that you are taking the coaching that is being given to you, and that, you're a player that is truly getting better every single year. I think there's a lot of value in that. So big fan of this. Now, PFF also says that Swinson didn't become a full-time starter until his final season. But in his current form, he shows very active hands and a good understanding of rushing the passer to yield consistently high pass rush win rates. If he continues to get stronger defending the run, he can become a starting 3-4 edge player with an impact pass rush potential. Now, I think part of why he fell a little bit was, number one, this is just a loaded defensive line class, especially at edge. Great players were bound to fall at some point. And Bradyn Swinson, he kept being the top player on the board. I was talking about a lot of different players for the Patriots to go in rounds 4, in rounds 5. Obviously, I was a big fan of Jack Sawyer, who ultimately goes to the Steelers. But Bradyn Swinson was ranked higher, and just seeing him fall down the board, I was like, as much as I like Jack Sawyer, this pick very well could be Bradyn Swinson because of that BPA mindset that the Patriots have. I also think part of why he fell down the boards a little bit is because there was some potential character concerns. It sounds like he got into it a little bit with the coaching staff, but that sounds more like it was the ways he was being utilized, or the lack of utilizing him a little bit. That the Patriots looked into those character concerns with every single player. So the Patriots passed up on a lot of great players with potential character concerns. I believe that they looked into the situation. They found that those character concerns were nothing serious with Bradyn Swinson, and they believe that with their own investigation of him, what he's bringing as a player, the value on the field, much outweighs any potential character concern, that he's going to bring to the team. So I definitely think that there is upside with that. A little bit more about him before we move on. He was a 3-star recruit in the 2020 class. He does have a little bit of an injury history, but nothing too crazy. 2021 was that most recent injury. He had a torn meniscus and missed 3 total games. Now, he also played at Oregon from 2020 to 2022 before he transferred to LSU ahead of the start of the 2023 season. And then this past season in 2024, he was second team All SEC. Huge fan of the Patriots just continuing to go trenches, right? We were told that, hey, final day here, day 3, they're going to look to address the defense. Elliot Wolf said last night before the start of today, before the finalization of the 2025 draft, that there was a couple of holes on the defense that they wanted to solidify. They wanted to make sure that they had the depth solidified on the defense, and that's exactly what they did. And from what it sounds like what they wanted to solidify was that defensive line, because they went edge. They went interior defensive line. They went with that defensive tackle who has that pass rush upside. This defensive line is going to be day and night, and I cannot stress that enough. You look at, the key additions that the Patriots have made to the defensive line this offseason. One, you're getting Christian Barmore back. Then you got Milton Williams. You got Keion Chason, who I think could be a good situational pass rusher, which, be completely honest with you guys, I think if Bradyn Swinson really gets the ground running, there's a world in which they don't even need Keion Chason. So I think that's an interesting battle to potentially watch. Keion Chason, to me, could be a potential surprise cut, depending on how well Bradyn Swinson performs straight off the bat. But, on top of that, you also got Joshua Farmer. You got Harold Landry, who's really good at, being a finisher. You got Keion White, who you're hoping with really the first good coaching staff, the real true first consistent coaching staff he's had so far with the Patriots, that, you can get a little bit more out of him, and he's going to be utilized the correct way with Terrell Williams. So really love what the Patriots did. I said that despite what they did in free agency, I wanted to see them attack defensive line in this draft class in some type of capacity because of just how good this class is. Like, I'm going to be honest with you, Bradyn Swinson in any other draft class would have easily been a 2nd to 3rd round pick. Easily. But again, because of just how good this draft class was, how many good players there was, you're going to get day 1 impactful players. You're going to get great developmental players, on day 3. And that's exactly what the Patriots are getting here. Trenches, the second most important thing in football. And with what the Patriots are doing, you feel really, really confident with where they're going on both the offensive side of the ball and the defensive side of the ball. But also want to pull up the Patriots depth chart and kind of just reset where they are at here in terms of edge. Let me pull this up here for you guys real quick. And I know we got some super chats too, which you guys have been very generous with today. You guys have been killing the super chat game today, so don't worry. We are going to be getting into those. Let me pull this up. And in fact, let's go here. So this is the updated Patriots depth chart that we are looking at right now. And they already got Bradyn Swinson on there. So currently looking at this, you got Anthony Jennings. I still think Anthony Jennings makes this team. Anthony Jennings, though, isn't exactly what, Mike Vrabel likes in his defensive lineman. I think if Anthony Jennings is going to be here long term, Jennings is going to have more pass rush upside, because Mike Vrabel likes those defensive linemen. Terrell Williams likes those defensive linemen that are better at getting to the quarterback, applying that pressure, being consistent in the pass rush department. Anthony Jennings, he's not terrible at getting to the quarterback, but he's not great. He's certainly not consistent, but he's someone who is just elite against the run off the edge there. I mean, he is one of the best edge defenders in stopping the run in the entire National Football League. Then, of course, like I mentioned, you got Keion Chason. Now you got Bradyn Swinson. You got Truman Jones. What the heck do they have on the other side? Where's the edge here? Oh, here we got Harold Landry up here. You got Keion White. You got Titus Leo, who's going to be, I say this lightly, but he's going to be fighting for a roster spot, also known as he's going to be a practice squatter at best. So the Patriots defensive line definitely looks day and night compared to what it was last year. And, going to be completely honest with you guys, I had edge rusher as a bigger need than most people did. And I feel pretty good at where they're going at now, because, you got Keion White, who a lot of people are projecting to be your edge rusher 1. But honestly, I see Keion White, and I said this when he was drafted, I see Keion White as more of that Dietrich Wise replacement, because, Keion White is really, really good in the interior of the defensive line. He was one of the best pass rushers from the interior of the D-line in all of the National Football League this past season. So I think he's someone that Vrabel, Terrell Williams, they're going to want to play all over the defensive line to get him in his key matchups to make sure that they're utilizing him correctly. And then you have Harold Landry, and Landry's a very good complementary piece, but he's definitely not a number one at this point in his career, especially, like I said, he's more of that finisher. He's not a great, super consistent pass rusher. I would even say Harold Landry at this point in his career, he's better at stopping the run and setting the edge, containing the edge than he is, at actually getting to the quarterback, but an elite finisher to where, if the rest of the guys on the D-line, whether that's Keion White, whether that's Bradyn Swinson, whether that's Christian Barmore, whether that's Milton Williams, as long as those guys can do their job in the pass rush department, Harold Landry is going to come off the edge and he's going to make sure that that quarterback stays on the ground, right? Like, we are going to refer to Harold Landry by the end of the season as the finisher, which, I guess pause for a minute there, but we're going to refer to him as the finisher on the New England Patriots defense, man. So like we said, football games are won in the trenches, and the Patriots in this draft class on both sides of the football have definitely addressed that. But this is where I kick it off to you guys. What are your thoughts on the addition of Bradyn Swinson here? Absolute beautiful value, elite value for the Patriots here. A 5th-round draft pick for a guy that was projected to go, in rounds 3 to 2, somewhere in that range. Again, PFF, they had him as their 47th best prospect in this entire class, 47th guy on their big board, and the Patriots get him here at 146. So want to get into these super chats, though, before we log off here. Like I said, too, guys, we have videos on every single Patriots draft prospect. So if you want to hear what Will Campbell brings to the Patriots, what my reaction, what my thoughts were on that, if you want to hear about Travion Henderson, Kyle Williams, we got videos. Jarrod Wilson, we got videos on all those guys. It's pinned in the chat below if you guys want to go ahead and check out some of those videos. But we're getting here into the super chat. Elf of Courage, man. I mean, you are back at it. You and SGT Moonshine have been killing it today with the super chats, with the support of the channel. So really, really appreciate you guys for that. It does not go unnoticed. I can promise you that. But you said, who do you think the Pats will draft as Mr. Irrelevant? So Mr. Irrelevant actually came out already, and so I can actually tell you who he was. Nobody saw it coming. In fact, I mean, it's the final pick. It's the final pick in the 7th round. The guy was going to be a UDFA if the Patriots didn't take him, so I don't blame the analysts for not really having much on him. But the Patriots took Kobe Minor, cornerback out of Memphis, right? He's like a 5'10", more projected to be a slot cornerback. We'll definitely talk about him at some point, but yeah, he was their final pick at 256 as Mr. Irrelevant, which, hey, they're adding some depth there in the secondary. I don't think the Patriots necessarily needed depth at outside cornerback. I think they needed help at that slot cornerback, and that's exactly what I project Minor to be. Is I expect him to come in and compete to be, a slot cornerback. He's slower, though, is my concern. He ran like a 4.56 40-yard dash, so he's not very fast. He's someone that's going to be able to keep up in the slot. Excuse me, that's one of my biggest questions. But shout out to my boy Alpha Courage for that $10 donation. We got my boy Trey coming in here with a $5 donation. He says, if only we could have hit on last year's draft like this one would have been a playoff team so quick. I would say, Trey, let's just pump the brakes a bit. You know what I'm saying? Because last year's draft class, we loved last year's draft class. Like, I think for the most part, Patriots fans really liked the majority of those picks. Caden Wallace was a bit of a questionable pick, but, for the most part, everybody loved Jalen Polk. They loved that selection. Polk was a fan favorite. He was projected as more of a 3rd, but nonetheless, the Patriots, they got him in the 2nd, so bit of a stretch. But the Patriots fans, they liked the Jalen Polk pick. They liked the Javon Baker pick. They obviously liked the Drake May pick. I just think that it's really hard to evaluate last year's draft class because they weren't put in a position to succeed. There were a lot of questionable decisions. The coaching staff was very questionable. How the team was run was very questionable. They had the 2nd hardest schedule in the NFL. Like, I'll be curious to see what they can do under a disciplined team that's going to have a little bit more of an identity. So for me, I think you can't necessarily say a draft class was a hit or a miss after 1 year. So I'll be curious to see what it looks like, after this year. I would even say Joe Milton was a hit of a draft pick, right? Obviously was way better value than what the Patriots got for him in what, the 6th round, and they traded him for a better pick than they used anyway. So I'll be curious to see. But, as for this draft class, we haven't seen these guys perform, right? The majority of these guys could be a bust. This entire draft class could be the best draft class that we've seen the Patriots ever have. This could be the best draft class out of all teams in the NFL. It ultimately depends, right? Like, everybody hates on Elliott Wolf, but nobody hated on Jerod Mayo or the coaching staff last year. It is the front office's job to select the players. It is then the coaching staff's job to develop those guys. Every single player that is taken in the draft is only as good as they are developed, right? It's not like you're drafting a player and he's either good or bad. The development doesn't matter. The coaching staff doesn't matter. That's not how that works. They have to come into a situation that is going to allow them to become a good player. Drake May, right? He was good last year, but Drake May was good in spite of how bad that coaching staff was. So could you imagine if the Patriots hit on this draft class, if they get the best out of last year's draft class that had a lot of promise? Now we're really cooking with fire. Like, the way that I see it, last year's draft class, like, I'm kind of treating this year as like a restart for those players, to be honest with you. And it sounds like that's how Mike Vrabel's going to treat it also. My boy Elf of Courage comes back in here with a $5 donation. Let's go, baby. Says Gillette Stadium turns 23 years old this year. You want to know what's crazy? I'm 23. So Gillette. So I was what, 1 year old? One years old when Gillette Stadium was built? That's kind of crazy. That's kind of a crazy concept to think about. I love Gillette Stadium. I think that, like, Patriots Place as a whole is so unique compared to the other stadiums in the NFL. I've been to multiple different other stadiums, throughout the world, and nothing compares to Gillette, because Gillette Stadium is not just a stadium and a parking lot. Gillette Stadium is like in like a shopping outlet. Like, it has a vibe to it. It has like a nightlife to it, which I think is what separates Gillette Stadium. I just think that Gillette needs to upgrade the stadium a little bit. Like, as crazy as it sounds, because, like, they're not really selling a lot of tickets right now, but, add more seats, update the stadium a little bit. I know they're starting to do it, but I think with as old as the stadium's getting, you see a lot of the other teams in the league updating their stadiums. I think at some point the Patriots got to, like, really start upgrading that stadium, a little bit more, because, I was watching a video of somebody asking the prospects, what is the stadium you're most excited to play in? And the Patriots wasn't mentioned by any of them, which is crazy because it's so iconic, but nobody mentions it. It's not like a memorable stadium to me, or not to me. To me, it's very memorable, but to these players. And I want it to be, because this is such a legendary team, a legendary franchise. The area that Gillette is in, I mean, next to like the Olive Garden and the Bass Pro and just the shopping outlet and like the hospital or like the doctor's office, whatever that is. I think it's a hospital. You got the Hall of Fame right down there. Like, it's so different compared to every other stadium, man. We deserve the praise. We deserve that recognition. SGT Moonshine, speaking of the man, the myth, the legend, is back up in here. He says, when do you believe you are going to be doing the Q&A live stream tomorrow? I want to make sure I can be there for it. So I'm thinking tomorrow will either be the Q&A live stream or it's going to be the draft grades live stream. But I feel like we should do draft grades maybe like Monday. I feel like we should put off draft grades a little bit. So maybe tomorrow. But you know what? You guys can let me know in the comment section, right? Tomorrow, do you guys think we should do draft grades as a live stream? I'm going to break down each player, give my grade, and then I'm going to give my overall grade to the draft class. Or should we do a Q&A styled live stream to where post-draft, you guys come in and you just ask questions, and the entire show is essentially brought to you by the questions that you have. You ask me what I think about the players, what I think about the selections. You ask me how I think it's going to impact the team. Any questions you have with the team moving forward, you guys drop in the chat, and that's literally what the whole live stream is going to be. We haven't done a true Q&A in a very long time, so I want to make sure we do one of those. But Either way, SGT Moonshine, it's going to be a little bit later. I think it will be somewhere between like, I'm thinking we're going to do it somewhere between like 4 to like 5, like 4 to 5 p.m. is somewhere where I'm thinking we're going to do that live stream tomorrow. My boy Trey comes back in here with a $10 donation. Let's go. You guys are killing it, man. Said, speaking of stadiums, I'm getting closer to having the free time to design a stadium proposal. Trey, oh my God. I remember this from a few days ago when we were talking about this. I need location suggestions. Keep it in Foxborough or make it closer to Boston. Oh, that's good, dude. Trey. That is a beautiful question because I think Foxborough is so iconic for the history of the Patriots. I also think they'd probably want to keep the stadium with where everything else is. Like, you look at it, they're building up the training equipment, the training areas, like all that stuff on top of where the location is with all the stores, and it helps the local community for Foxborough. So I think they would keep it in Foxborough. But a stadium closer to Boston, like how the Philly stadium is like in Philly, that's a dope idea. That's a dope idea. Trey, I'm so serious. I'm very much looking forward to seeing your design of like a new Patriots stadium. Like, dude, as soon as you make it, you got to let me know. Like maybe I'll even like use it, like break it down in a video, like Patriots like stadium redesigned breakdown. Like I think that'd be so cool, man. I think that'd be so cool. SGT Moonshine says Q&A tomorrow and draft grades Monday for sure, man. I think I've been talking for too long. I agree. Okay, so I think tomorrow we're gonna do an open Q&A. We'll allow Patreon members to also come in on the end and ask any questions live on air that they have, any comments they have about the draft class. But tomorrow's live stream, somewhere between 4 to 5 p.m., it's going to be powered by you guys. So bring your questions. What questions do you have for me about players, the direction of this team, anything? Post free agency, post NFL draft Q&A led by you guys tomorrow, man. I'm looking forward to it. But guys, that is going to, we got Elf of Courage back in here with another donation. Big $10 donation. Says, the last stadium I was at was AT&T Stadium in Dallas. You could almost fit my neighborhood inside that building, dude. So like, this is kind of sad, but you know what? It's not as bad as some other situations I've been in, but my current girlfriend, like her family's like Dallas fans, right? And it could be so much worse. So like they could be Eagles fans. they could be Eagles fans, right? I was with someone, years ago, and her family was Jets fans, man. Let me tell you, like that should have been the red flag for me to run right in the moment. And I didn't. But they told me, my current girlfriend, they told me that Dallas is a beautiful, beautiful stadium. I understand why here in Gillette, here for New England, like we don't do the dome stadiums because that's not real football. Like the whole, not spring football, but the whole like winter football and fall football, that is so iconic in New England. And to put a dome over it would kind of take away that aspect of what we've come to know and love here from Patriots football. So I understand why they don't do a dome, but dome stadiums are freaking cool, dude. I was in Caesars Superdome for the Super Bowl when I was covering the Super Bowl a couple months ago. And that is a really nice stadium. I'm going to be honest with you guys. Caesars Superdome, that is a pretty dope stadium. That is a pretty dope stadium. But I did hear that Dallas's stadium is very, very nice. Who else has a good stadium? The Bills are building a really cool stadium. The Raiders are building a really cool stadium. Oh, no. The Bills are building a cool stadium. The Raiders have a good stadium. The Falcons have a really cool stadium. The Vikings have a really cool stadium. I think I'm missing one. I think the Texans. Is that who I'm thinking of? The Texans have a good stadium. Who is it? The Rams. The Rams. They have, I think they share with the Chargers. They have like an insane modernized like stadium. It's the coolest thing. The coolest thing. Diehard comes in here and says, can't wait for your Q&A. Wish my notifications were consistent. I'm not getting them all the time, but I'll be looking forward. Hey, guys, I know YouTube can be kind of weird with not letting you guys be notified when I post. So make sure you guys do subscribe, hit that bell notification, and change it to allow notifications for every single post. Also, make sure you guys join the Discord. We have a Patriots Discord. It's me. It's a bunch of other Patriots fans. And every single time I'm going live or I drop new content, I make sure I notify you guys just in case YouTube doesn't. So that's another good way to make sure you're notified for all the content. Elliot comes in here with a $2 donation and says, what's your fave pick? Mine is Williams. Yards after catch looks G. Dude, that yards after the catch ability is insane. His ability against man coverage too is crazy. He was top 3 amongst all wide receivers in this class in yards against man coverage in college football this past season. And he was first in touchdowns out of wide receivers in this draft class against man coverage. So absolute dog. It's really hard because they made so many great picks. And I hate to always do like the first round pick because it's like, no duh, like that's supposed to be the best guy. But I'm going to go with the guy that a lot of people probably aren't going to pick. And that's going to be Will Campbell. I think the player you're getting is so underrated. The guy you're getting with Will Campbell, I think he showed that in the draft. He showed it after the draft. I think it's going to make such a difference on the field, in the trenches from a football standpoint. But Will Campbell's going to make such a difference from just a person standpoint, just a pure person standpoint. The atmosphere he's going to help build, the leadership he's going to bring. I think Will Campbell very well could be, a captain year one. So I think his impact on the field, off the field is going to go just so underrated to me. That is my favorite pick for the Patriots because it's going to go such a long way in so many ways that people are not thinking of. And by the way, diehard Pats fan, I'm just realizing this now. Forgive me. I've been live streaming, I feel like, every moment of my life this week. Diehard dropped a freaking $50 donation. We're bringing back the air horns. Are you kidding me? A $50 donation. Right now, I need everybody who is watching to leave a heart, leave a like on the diehard Pats fan. $50 donation. Out here supporting your boy, supporting the channel. Everybody, throw it up. Throw it up in the chat right now. Give some love to Die Hard because a $50 donation is absolutely amazing. And in fact, give it up to everybody who donated today. Elf of Courage killed it today with the Super Chat game. Trey killed it with the Super Chat game. SGT Moonshine killed it with the Super Chat game. And Elliot coming in here killing it with the Super Chat game also. Guys, I freaking love the hell out of you. I appreciate you guys for all the support you're giving me. I appreciate you guys for all the support you're giving me, especially through the draft process over the last few days. I am killing you guys with content right now. It's a lot of work on my end, but I want to make sure that it's organized for you, that you guys get the best damn content that you're looking for. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, that this channel gives it to you, and you don't have to sit through an hour live stream trying to figure out where can I hear my thoughts on one players. So with that being said, if you guys want to hear more about this New England Patriots draft class, make sure to check out make sure you guys check out the playlist that I have here. I have broken down almost every single selection that the Patriots have made, analyzed that selection from their 2025 draft class. Make sure you guys leave a big like on this video. It also helps tremendously support your boy. It's also completely free. I will see you guys, though, maybe even later tonight. I think I might pop out one more live stream. We'll see. But if not, I will see you guys tomorrow for our Q&A around 4 to 5 p.m. Eastern. So until next time, I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Drop your thoughts on the additions of Bradyn Swinson in the comment section below. But until next time, I'm Colby Cochran, and go Pats, baby.